Last week, my father visited me and we watched a speech by Fredrik Härén about business creativity, because that's what nerds do on a Friday night. Härén is a very international man, and when he started talking about how Asian businesses are better creatively than Western businesses, I started to realize he was using the same reasoning that I use when talking about filmmaking. So the presentation was all about business, and in business, people aren't too worried about China, for example, because they seem to only copy. But Härén's argument made a lot of the audience members shift in their chairs. I grew up with a lot of anime, the unedited German versions, not the Americanized versions. I mean, come on, jelly donuts, come on. Anyway, so while growing up, I would watch more and more grown-up anime. And this led me to watch Japanese movies, then Chinese movies and Korean movies. And it was here that I started noticing a lot of differences in the filmmaking. I even wrote a paper about the cultural differences between Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai and The Glorious Seven. One of the best techniques I learned from Seven Samurai was silence. Silence as a dramatic tool is hardly ever used in Western cinema, and the way it builds up tension is amazing. But Westerners can't deal with silence. It's boring to us. So I noticed in the dub of Seven Samurai, all the moments that were just complete silence, you had wind blowing through grass for minutes on end, were dubbed with onlookers saying something. Nothing important, just something to break the silence. But what does this have to do with Fredrik Härén's speech? Well, he says that Asia is a force to be reckoned with, because not only do they know their own traditions and pop culture and politics, they know ours too. Härén asked the audience who knows who the president of China is. Almost no one raised their hands. Then he asked who knows who the Prime Minister of India is. Again, almost no one raised their hands. One person did raise their hand both times, and it was a Chinese woman who answered both questions correctly. So then he continued. When he was in China, he asked how many of them know who the president of the US is, and they laughed at him. Of course they knew who the president of the US is. And that's exactly the thing. The world is so Western that we Westerners have become complacent in thinking that our way of life is the best. Härén also used an example of two films, The Dark Knight and Red Cliff. He found that in China, 80% of the people he asked had seen The Dark Knight. He also found that in China, 80% of those people had also seen Red Cliff. In the US, he asked how many people had seen The Dark Knight. About 80%. Red Cliff? One person. A Chinese exchange student. And it doesn't matter if Red Cliff is a good movie or not. It's awesome, by the way. What matters is that Western society needs to start learning again. Not because the US needs to be better than everyone else. It's because complacency halts progress. And that's one of the reasons why I started this channel in the first place. I wanted to start discussions and get people to be interested in learning from different cultures. And instead of just giving you my opinion on things, I want to start looking for interesting movies and pop culture and anything that I can find and just make little reviews about it and talk about it here. So go watch the Ip Man trilogy just to see how awesome silence can be. Or if you think that Jackie Chan is just a comedic actor, watch The New Police Story, one of my favorite movies. Or watch Hero, or even Jade Warrior, a half-Finnish, half-Chinese movie about a shared mythological object. I mean, seriously, it's awesome. I'm going to do some rethinking about how these videos will be done. But I am going to come back with a review of Red Cliff. I don't know how long it will take until it's done, but I will be coming back. The best way to keep up is just to hit that subscribe button. And until then, thanks for watching.